Before I came to the church, I had a broken family. So I grew up where my mom was always falling ill. And this was a cycle, so every time she would fall ill, she'd just get even more worse. Until where there was this day, she was very ill to the point, like the morning we received the news that she died. And when that happened, like my world just crumbled, and I didn't expect anything else from life because I thought this was it, because how worse can it actually, get? When we moved to the UK, things just got even more out of hand in our family because we all didn't know how to deal with this situation. My dad, my brother, myself. So we became very annoyed with each other, like paranoid, and we started to argue, fight. But even among a lot of people, like friends and things, I'd still feel empty. I remember we heard about the church, my auntie invited us. And when we came, the pastor spoke to me and he asked me, "How are you?" And that really caught my attention because I don't think anybody literally asked me, "How are you?" that way. Because it was literally, "How are you inside?" And it made me think. I saw that there was something different in that place. I started to practice and I saw results. I was able to overcome the family issues. We no longer had arguments, fights. I was able to actually think about my future. And that didn't happen for a while. But inside, I was still the same person. And because of that, I wanted a new life. I thought that I would get the result of a new life, and because I didn't, I became very frustrated inside, and I would even question people's testimony at that point until a situation happened. There was this day that my house was on fire and we didn't have the front door keys, so we were locked in and we couldn't get out. And I remember just before fainting, this was it for me. This was my life, I was dying, and the last thing was just me calling on God. I remember I called on Jesus, and God delivered us from that. If I had died, I would have gone to hell. I would have lost it. I would have lost the opportunity to have salvation. I said to God, "God, I am going to obey you in everything you say. It's going to be your way." And I remember the campaign was announced. And I got revolted when the campaign was announced. I was like, "I'm not having this. I want to know you, God. I can't be just listening about you, hearing about you from other people." So I asked God to lead me, and God showed me the things I needed to let go firmly. And it was the attachment I still had with the world. So I remember God asked me to let go of my career because I was very controlling in what I wanted for my life. I surrendered that on the altar. I surrendered my pride, and God also asked me to build my financial sacrifice. So I placed all of my salary, my savings. I also gave my food money. I really wanted to call God's attention, and I gave all of that on the altar. When I went to the altar, I just knew that I was going with my all. And when I placed the sacrifice on the altar, it was such a great assurance. I just knew that God heard me. He accepted my sacrifice. And from that moment on, everything just worked in my favor to know God, literally. And the next day, when we were seeking in the service, I received the Holy Spirit. So I would advise, focus on the voice of God, because He will tell you what you need to surrender. And go and do it, because once you do it, your life is going to transform and you are not going to recognize who you are.